When I was young, they used to call me a monster. African, bushman, monkey, I was bothered. Used to pick on my clothes. I didn't have Nikes. I didn't have nice bikes, other fancy things. I didn't have much loot, no savings, no trust fund. So walking out my house every day was not fun. Had no heat in the winter, no AC in the hot sun. Next to my bed was rats, leftovers, they got some. Used to wonder why me, while seeing on TV, dudes with Beamers, Jaguars, of course Mercedes. Being broke as a kid used to drive me crazy. Hearing the guns at night, I couldn't sleep like a baby. But now I'll make it plain, I'm writing this on a plane on my way to Warrington for a show. What changed? Well, I stopped making excuses for myself, took blame. You take control of your life, you can do the same. It don't matter, you've been abused, grew up with no parents, you dealt with booze, dealt with drugs, wheelchair ramped it. Maybe you grew up poor in a house, not a home. Maybe mom's was an addict, papa Rolling Stone. What you gotta see is life is just testing you out to see if you're gonna quit, take that easy route, to see if you'll throw the towel and surrender your soul to a life of crime, a life of loss, life out of control. But if you take a step back, think twice, get some goals. If you focus on your dreams and not your nightmares, you'll see your life get better with your new mindset. Get new experiences that you won't regret. I took control of my life, now I travel the globe. I met Clinton, Obama, Maya Angelou. I might be the next man on the cover of O. You take control of your destiny, you never know. I've been on BET, BBC, CNN. I've been to almost 30 countries, spoke before millions. Now they don't call me a monster unless I'm beasting the flow. They don't call me nothing but the goat at a show. So what can you do if you focus on great? More than me, probably, if you concentrate. Get the haters out your life, stop lifting that weight, and listen to no one who ever said wait. You take control of your dreams and develop yourself. If you eat the right foods and develop your health, you'll live the life of your dreams. Trust me, you'll see, because you got nothing but greatness in your destiny. Good morning, how you doing? All right. Somebody repeat after me, there can only be one me. There was no me before me. There will be no me after me. That's just I'm the only me that the world will see. I will be the best me that I can be for eternity. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was awesome. Now you can check rapping off of your bucket list, because you all got it in at one point just now. I wanted to share that affirmation because we can hear great speeches throughout our entire lives, but at the end of the day, you're going to remember the things you say to yourselves more than you say to anything else that you hear from anybody else. So it's important to affirm yourself. And in order to do this work of finding common ground in uncommon times, it's going to take no less than your best effort. We need you now more than ever. The poem, the words that I shared in that rhyme are a true story about how I grew up. As you can tell from my name, I was born in a very faraway place called Boston, Massachusetts. It's far from here. Nobody's walking to Boston, I'm assuming. And growing up in Boston, because of my name, I didn't have what you would call a stereotypical African accent, but I was bullied and beaten up just because my name was different. I was othered and was made to feel like I didn't belong, being called a monkey, being called a monster, being put in these positions where I couldn't understand why people weren't trying to build with me, but were trying to separate me from everybody else. And as I grew older and started to become more confident in who I was, I started to understand it a little bit better, why these things happen, why hurt people, and why people put themselves in positions where other folks can't fit in that picture. And I saw it in real time about 6 years ago. I went to Rwanda. And when you go to Rwanda, they encourage you to visit the Rwandan Genocide Museum. And I'm like, I'm into history. I studied a lot. We, lived through this time, and I know a lot of things. I saw Hotel Rwanda, so I'm good. But they really insisted. And so I went there. And when I went there, the first thing I saw was that now, it would be 30 years ago, since the genocide happened, they still have, at the museum, they have open mass graves today. I asked them, why do they do that? And they say that, well, we're still finding bodies from the genocide of '94. See, sometimes the only time, if we don't get ourselves together, get our minds right, sometimes the only time we'll find common ground is when we're in the ground. We got to do the work above ground. So I went into the museum and I started looking around. I saw these stories, and I saw stories of little kids, pictures, beautiful pictures. They were dressed in their Sunday's best and everything, smiles and all of that. And one of the things, it talked about the things that they loved to do, and then it talked about how they died. This person hacked with a machete. This person shot. This one child's head smashed against the wall. And then I walked into another room where they had the skulls of many of these dead people. And then I walked into another room and I saw the cartoon images that were used to dehumanize people. So you got to understand that the first step of indoctrination is our cartoons. Go back and look at our cartoons from the 1930s and 40s and look how they portrayed Jewish people and Germans and Japanese. Go and look at some of our cartoons from the 90s and the 2000s. Look how after 9/11, look how Muslims were portrayed in our cartoons and television shows. You see, our enemies usually, our cartoons and television shows usually reflect the people with whom we're in conflict at the time. So I saw the cartoon images and saw how the genocide started to brew. Then I walked into a final room and I saw a video of a survivor. And this woman said, yesterday I was paying this child's school fees, my neighbor's school fees, and the next day he was hunting me. And that sign, that term made me something in my mind that I just couldn't forget. It made me realize the Rwandan genocide could happen here. The Rwandan genocide could happen anywhere if people allow othering to continue. If we allow ourselves to keep putting ourselves in positions where everybody cannot be celebrated, but only tolerated and maybe even hated. And so my goal in working to help people find common ground, I talk about 4 simple things about what we need to do to avoid what we're seeing happen, not only in this country, but across the globe as people are becoming more hostile towards each other. We have to be the ones who change that direction, who change that trajectory. And the first step in doing that is give. Everybody say give. Say it like you mean it. Give. We got to give our time as engaged listeners. We have to spend more time listening to each other than we do talking. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we have to use them in proportion. But if we spend so much time just waiting to respond as opposed to actually hearing stories, we never get to hear the stories of the people sitting next to us. We have to be better listeners. And one way or another, people are going to act out if they're not feeling like they're being heard. What can you do to be a better listener today? The next step is release. Everybody say release. Say it like you mean it, release. We got to learn to let go of our preconceived notions. We're not responsible for what we were taught, but we are responsible for unlearning once we get exposed to new information. But if we stay caught up in our silos, that can never happen. Most of us spend more time going on the internet looking for affirmation as opposed to information. And so we put ourselves in these confirmation bias circles. And what are we really going to do? If we all logged out of our YouTube and had one account and typed in something like politics or cats dancing, we would all get the same video. And then the next videos we play would all be the same. But then if we logged into our accounts, the algorithms are going to feed us all something different, because it feeds our confirmation bias. So we have to do more work to let go of our preconceived notions by having those conversations, by learning to read different stories, by learning to go to different networks. I tell my students on the first day of class, I don't care what you think about anything. I care about how you think. I care about how you're informed. Do you watch more than one news network? Because if you're only caught up with one network, I don't care what the network is, you're not going to do well in here. So we got to get rid of those preconceived notions. And then you got to release people who don't represent where you say you want to go. Because I got news for you. If you're surrounded by 5 racists, you're racist number 6. If you're surrounded by 7 anti-Semites, you're number 8. 9 Islamophobes, you're number 10. 11 homophobes, you're number 12. There's no middle ground as it relates to that. So you got to let go of people who don't represent where you claim to want to go. And then that leads us to overcoming. Everybody say overcome. You got to overcome the fear of having these courageous conversations that Glenn Singleton talks about. It can be fearful to engage in these conversations, but our work today is to do the work now so that 5, 10, 15, 25 years from now, people can enjoy the fruits of our labor. Just like we're enjoying the fruits of the labor of people who fought for us 25 years ago and 50 years ago and 75 years ago and 100 years ago. We got to overcome that. And that will lead us to win. Everybody say win. Win. We just got to believe that we will win if we don't give in. All of us come from people who fought hard so that we can enjoy what we do today. And we got to do the work to pay it forward. Now that GROW, that give, release, overcome, and win, that spells out grow. And every single day we have to not just go through our experiences as a society, but grow through them. And the last thing I want to leave you all with is I encourage you all to engage in this thing called the rule of 7. I want you to come up with 7 questions that show your commitment to doing this work. that show your commitment to finding common ground? Because you can talk about it, but are you really living it? If so, what do your 7 best friends look like? What does the cast of the last 7 TV shows that you watched look like? You go to watch plays, what does the cast look like? What do the authors of the last 7 books that you read look like? What do your 7 closest neighbors look like? You hire people, what do your hiring process, who are you hiring? You got kids in your life, what do the 7 last toys you bought for them look like? What do their friends look like? You see, every single day, we need to see if we're actually doing this work in real time and in real life. And I believe that if we do that, we can continue to create a society where everybody can indeed be celebrated and not just tolerated. But we just got to believe. Repeat after me. I know if I believe, I can and will achieve. The past is the past. I will no longer regret it. I will focus on this gift, which I call the present. I will get out of my own way and live my best life starting today. If I focus on my dreams and not my sorrows, my trials today will be my testimony tomorrow. This poem is to celebrate the greatness in all of y'all who are working to find common ground. They say greatness is a choice, but what have you chosen? You've been frozen in time and broken in mind. For too long, the same song playing in your head, living in breath, but better off dead. But who said that you didn't have the power? Who said this is not your hour? You've been showered with a steady stream of words that kill your dreams. But since you're still breathing, then someone has lied to you, tried to deny you of your own potential inside you. If you just decide to, let no one deride you. Don't even let them get beside you as you unearth the new you. Stop listening to naysayers and decide to do you. No more pity parties, sob stories, and boo-hoos. If no one told you that you're great, then let me be the first to. If you develop the thirst to drink from Faith's fountain, you'll develop the might to move mountains. You see, we remove tons of dirt to find 1 ounce of gold. So we'll ask you to remove tons of hurt and just uncover 1 ounce of your soul. You'll set yourself on a true path of excellence, getting out of your passenger seat and driving your own car, reaching for the moon, but maybe only landing among the stars. You see, you have greatness inside you, but you must choose to be great. Blaze a path of excellence, leaving fear in your wake. All you need is already inside you. You just must believe in yourself. Grow towards your greatness. Find that common ground and discover your true wealth. Thank you.